Alright guys, welcome back to my channel, Subscription Boxes and More with Michelle. And we have looked inside this art journal box just a few days ago. It is the October box, and oops, there's a glare. And I said that I would show you how to do this stuff in my box, or at least what I've done with it. So I have done the first 2 weeks worth of projects. And the first one, as I told you, there was the blackout poetry. And, well, hello, kitty cat. Are you coming to help? You just want to be a YouTube star. Okay. So they supplied you with this, this copy of 2 pages from Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein here. And you can see I did my blackout technique on that for the blackout poetry, and it also glued this in. I did the painting of the there was an acrylic paint and a watercolor. Anyway, we're gonna do it a little bit here in a minute. It's a little hard doing it one-handed, but we'll see what we can do. But we did that, and then we also, for the second week, that was the first week, the second week, we did this. This is something I did on my own, which was to, again, use the yellow and the pink, and to make a background of those colors, and then to use the India ink to do different brush strokes and things on that background, and then to make a viewfinder to cut out a square, and then you went around the paper and you kind of found areas of that you painted that you wanted to cut out and use for this, or you inked the background of the page with the India ink, and then you cut the 2-inch squares and you glued them down and made this kind of mess. I'm not as into, like, I guess you'd call this some kind of abstract or something art. I'm not as into that as I am something that's recognizable, but you know, for some people, and a lot of people, they like this kind of thing, and it is part of mixed media. So, and again, I wanted to try that out and find out what all the hype was, and you know, try my hand at some mixed media. On this side, I liked how this side was looking with the ink, how as you painted it down the page and the brush got dry, that it left behind these brush strokes. And so I decided to do that on the opposite page, and I was going to try to glue a blackout poetry to this page that I make, possibly from a magazine. I don't know how well that the ink will work with that, the magazine paper, but I thought I would try it and see if I could glue something here. And I'm not sure, I wasn't going to do it here because I'm not sure if that is something that they're going to, in one of the next 2 weeks, do a project on this inside from this first, the blackout poetry. So I'm leaving that blank currently, and to see if we use this for another project. If not, then we'll go back and do something on that page. Maybe I should have left this one blank for the same reason. But as I said, I was having fun with that and leaving the brush stroke. So I'm going to try putting something here, and you know, it's my book. If we end up having to go on and do a different page, instead of putting the next project here, well, so be it. It's my book, and who's to tell me I'm doing it wrong? So with that, I did make another order. Well, here's the magazine I'm going to, Midwest Living, that I'm going to try to do some blackout poetry on using that ink. But again, I'm not 100% sure how that's going to, how the ink is going to work on this glossy thin paper. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try it. And here's some paper. I'm going to put it on just because I don't want to put it directly into my book in case it doesn't work. They sell at Let's Make Art this butcher tray palette, and that's what they use in the videos, and I thought that looked neat because it does have this kind of about 1-inch tall side on this. It is an enameled metal tray. So I did buy one of those, and of course it didn't come in time for me to use it yet. With the first 2 projects, I had to use one of my ceramic plates, which the stuff washed off. It was fine. So if you need to do that, it does work. And then I didn't have the paint brushes they were calling for, so I bought those. And then, of course, by the time I got it, then they were calling for different sizes for the next project. But anyways, we're getting there. We're going to build up some supplies. We are going to learn some techniques. And back to what... Oh, and I also... They gave you that really tiny little thing. It looked like an eyeshadow like box or whatever, with the Yes paste. Well, it's not enough if you're going to do all 4 projects that need Yes paste. It wasn't enough to do all 4, so I did buy the Yes paste off of their site. I may have been able to get it cheaper, say through Amazon or whatever, but I went ahead and ordered it through the Let's Make Art when I was getting everything else, and so we should have enough to do quite a few projects. What I like, I'd never tried this before, never even heard of it before I got my kit. But this works really, really well, and I don't have a palette knife, by the way. I do, but it's boxed up somewhere. But anyways, back to what I was saying. If you spread this one with a palette knife, you can get your paper-to-paper bond without any wrinkles or anything like you get with liquid adhesives, and you don't have a problem with a lot of the tape runners. I've found is that the bond might be great for a while, but then you go back months later and it's fallen apart. So hopefully this lasts for a good long time, the bond, and it doesn't leave wrinkles in your paper. So if you've never tried it, I recommend it. It's really neat. I like it better than Mod Podge. Mod Podge is a lot wetter. That is literally a paste, really thick. So anyways, I got some paper here. Again, I'm going to use this magazine. And what I've done, let me move things out of the way. To start with, what I have done is I found a page that, where is it? I already tore it out. Okay. And I went through and I underlined, I don't know if you can see faintly with a pencil. I went through and I read it, and I just picked out some words that kind of went together to say something different than what, you know, it says right now, to take this article and turn it into something else. I'm going to use that India ink, and I'm going to paint over the words that I do not wish to show in my blackout poem. I will try to show this to you one-handed, but I'm going to have to pause and open up the ink and such. So if you will hold on just for a moment, I'll be right back. So rather than pour my ink out in my tray, because it dries very quickly, I want to just take the stopper out and dip my brush in, get just a little bit on, wipe it off, almost dry it because I don't want to get it everywhere, and show you if I can do this and film. You just literally just paint it out, the words you don't want to show. And because this is very hard to do while I'm holding the camera, and I don't even know if I had it where you could see it, I'm going to do this off camera and show you the end result in a moment, because as you can see, it's very wavy. The lines are going where I don't want them. Too hard to do it and hold the camera. So be right back. Okay, as you can see, I blacked out quite a little bit of this article. I call it Years Ago, and I can't read it very well with the camera pointed on it, so I'm going to move the camera away so I can actually see the print and hope that I can get through it this time without messing up. So, all right, it's called Years Ago. Years of history had become great pools that teemed with lovers. The original beloved couple had no formal ties to the old spirit. Black and white postcards sat back from view in a row there, inspired by the lost world, the kind old soul, and the music you'll hear. Oh, we hum along. And but that's still drying. I'm going to do some painting of just a watercolor kind of wash kind of deal with the other paints. And we will make a background to put behind this, and then we're going to put it over that black page that I made with the streaks. So we don't want to cover up too much of that. So I'll be right back. Okay, so in our Butcher's Tray palette, I have put just a little drop of our Dr. P.H. Martin's Radiant Concentrated Watercolor in Sunrise Pink. and a little dropper full of the PH Martin liquid acrylic in this bright yellow. You got to work a little fast because it does dry very quickly. And here we have this 1/2 inch brush here. Yes, we do. If we can get it in, there we go. So I'm just going to dip that in and paint a little bit of color on my paper. So we're going to start with just the plain, and it's not going to want to hold still, but we're going to smear on some just plain yellow. And then we're going to dip in and smear on some just plain pink-ish, because it's got yellow on it. And then we're also going to mix the two together, and we're going to paint around and get some different oranges. And we're just going to do this all over the paper and just see what we come up with, mixing those together a bit. And I'll be right back. Alright, as you can see, my paper is curling up, and I want to mention that that is because this is cheap. This is cheap paper, not at all meant for mixed media or any kind of wet application. But again, the reason that I went for this paper was because I did not know at all if this was going to work, and because we're going to use the Yes paste to glue down whatever we do use. It doesn't really matter as much that it's curling up, but it would take the paint a lot better. It would look a lot better. This just wants to drink it up. I mean, it is taking the paint really well because it wants to drink it, because it's not proper paper for, like I said, any kind of wet media. So that is what I ended up with. I even just sort of dripped some out of the dropper on it because it just was swallowing up that that pink watercolor so bad, because, you know, this is a thin, cheap paper, and that is a very, very thin watercolor paint. And so, you know, I was trying to get some more of the pink in there, and then eventually I just, because no matter where I touched the brush, it just sort of just sucked it dry. I just started just slathering it on, just trying to get a mix of the colors. But a lot of this is going to be covered up by that poem, which I'm going to cut out, and I'll be back again in a minute. Okay, I want you guys to see how smooth, especially really thin, magazine paper that usually ripples and bubbles and everything when you try to glue it down with a wet glue, or even how the edges curl when you try to use like a glue runner. So I just wanted to show you that this Yes paste is really good for this. And here is what the Yes paste looks like. Look how thick this is, guys. But I'm using, instead of a palette knife, because I don't have one currently that I know the whereabouts of, I'm using the, if I can get it in there, the paintbrush, and just getting some on there, and hopefully it comes out on my paintbrush. But regardless, I just wanted to show you guys that Yes paste and how well that sticks down magazine, real thin, glossy magazine paper. Be right back. Okay, we are back again, and there is my finished page. Not exactly how I wanted it to turn out. I really wanted a lot of that black with the streaks to show, but I wanted to tie in with the other page with the orange and pink and yellow, and yeah. So, you know, that wonky shape there. And I thought that pink spot kind of looked like it ended up kind of looking like a heart, even though it wasn't intentional. So that is why it's kind of put on there the way that it is. To tie in those colors, and because these pictures, it talked about black and white postcards, which these are not postcards, they're photographs, but they are black and white. I found that in another magazine, but on the same page, it was about family ties, and it was in Better Homes and Gardens. But on that same page was this big yellow carnation, and on the front, though, was this flower arrangement that, if you look closely, it kind of looks like it may have some of those yellow carnations kind of in there, but it's mostly the pink and orange colors. But I thought that kind of tied in with the colors to sort of, you know, give it a reason to be there. But then it has the black and white photographs with the poem, which I did in that kind of wonky way to be able to get everything on there and still be able to show that weird heart-shaped pink. But, it, you know, being across from here, it kind of goes kind of together to make sort of a, you know, some cohesive kind of mess that, you know, seems like it belongs together-ish. I mean, color-wise and such. So anyways, not really my taste. I would have done this differently. But again, I wanted to use that background. I wanted to tie it in with those colors. I like the idea of the blackout poetry. I even like the idea of the mixed media type thing, which I'm not sure if you guys would consider that completely like mixed media. I don't know. But anyways, not really my style there, but that's what I came up with to tie that all together. And but I'm going to do some more in this book with some blackout poetry and such, and try to do it a little more in my style and you know, to my taste. But I don't know. I don't think it's horrible. Is that what? Tell me down below. Is this what you consider, you know, like art journaling? And I've never done it, guys. I've never done art journaling except for my therapy journal, which I draw in, and I, you know, use a lot of a little bit of watercolor, but mostly colored pencils. And I mean, for me, that's my art journaling. It's me drawing in my journal. But mixed media and art journaling, I guess this is sort of more what they're talking about, because that's what they're telling you to do with these particular supplies. Anyways, I hope you like it, and I hope it inspires you to maybe perhaps, rather than throw things away like old magazines, maybe you'll go through and find your own poems, you know, do some of your own blackout poetry, that kind of thing, and put it in your art journal. And hopefully you make something a little neater than mine. I don't know. Maybe it's right. Please tell me down below, because again, I'm new at this. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have a good day. See you in the next one.